Hi everyone, my name is Burleson. I am currently teaching at Pennsylvania State University, Beaver campus, as an assistant professor of psychology. Today I would like to share what I study in applying mindfulness exercise in teaching during the pandemic. And as you all know, the pandemic is a very stressful time for everybody, and students are also impacted, especially the remote instruction is something not very familiar by many students on campus of where I'm teaching. So that's especially challenging whenever it's time. All of a sudden, we're changing to remote teaching. But first of all, though, I would like you to work it with me is like to experience one mindfulness exercise. And you can use this tiny URL. You can type it in. Um, and what it does is you will access a Google form, which will allow you to be able to like identify your feelings first before the mindfulness exercise. So I'll give you a short moment to do that. And then after you identify your feelings, you can put that Google form aside for now. Now please sit in a comfortable position. And I have a parenthesis open posture there. What that means is it's a posture that your chest area, your abdomen area is open. So in order to be able to engage in deep breathing that we're going to do, doing this or slouch or moving forward, it will make it harder for you to do it. But if you have it, your chest area more open, and you can sit, either have your back straight or at least have something to support your back. You can even lay down. That can be more comfortable and easy for you. So then let's take a few deep breaths together. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Let's do it again. Breathe in and breathe out. Now let's observe what we're feeling on your body. You can pay attention to your muscles on your face, anything tight, anything relaxed, comfortable. Pay attention to what it feels while you continue taking deep breath. Then move your attention to your neck area. Try to see if there's any area that is tight or loose, or move it a little bit to see if anything sounds cranky or not. And after you do that, take a deep breath. Now move your attention down to your back area. Same thing. While you're taking a deep breath, check and see if any sensation is there that you haven't noticed before or you have. Now let's gradually move our feelings and attention down to our arms and hand. Check how your body is feeling overall. Check that specific area is feeling while you're taking your deep breath. Anything tinkling, cold, warm, hot, anything is okay. Then let's move our attention down to the lower body. Check if you feel anything, any weight, any temperature, any texture on your skin, or how it feels like putting your feet on the floor or chair, or anywhere else. And then let's take our final 2 more deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And when you're ready, you can gradually bring your attention back to the session. You can gradually open your eyes or move your vision back to where you can see. Then now you can go back to the Google form and identify how the experience is and what your feelings are. Again, I'll give you a brief moment to do that. Okay, then after you're done, let's move on. So what you're experiencing is one of the mindfulness exercise. The definition of mindfulness is fully paying attention to the current experience, like what I asked you in the short exercise you just engaged. It's called body scan. And what that is pay attention to your bodily sensations. But at the same time, because of the combination of deep breathing and also like the identification of how you feel, the attempt of those instructions is to bring your attention to your feelings and bodily sensations. And in a way, by also slowly move your body a little bit whenever you're checking that muscles in the area. And because of those, you're more likely to be able to pay more attention to it. And you probably notice also in my instructions, I say anything is okay. So the way, like in mindfulness, paying attention is one thing, but also hold a non-judgmental attitude about whatever you notice about your bodily sensation or feelings is also part of the characteristic of a mindfulness exercise. And clinically, I mean, I'm a counseling psychologist, and I have a lot of clients, and so I'm very familiar with the literature, how it works. So here there are some examples is how widely mindfulness has been applied in many different studies, including here you can see like it improve sleep quality, quality of life, and also attention among postmenopausal women. Or it can also increase like self-compassion and decrease like distractions or fear of experiencing feelings, any suppression of anger, or even reducing aggression, worries, and difficulty regulating emotions. So I will say there are a lot of studies already in this area supporting, well, mindfulness is helpful for us to be able to take a more objective stand, to be able to see where we are. And in a way, like having the bonus of be able to regulate our emotions better or pay attention better. However, there are not a lot of study is done in terms of using mindfulness for students in class, especially, I mean, since this pandemic is something we haven't experienced before, at least for most people in the world right now. It's just something that is new, so that piqued my interest to use my classes in a study, in this study. So here they are undergraduate students in a relatively small class. Yes, you can notice that. And only a few of them, like about half of them, consent to participate. But because the data is covering like almost all courses in remote instruction of a semester. So actually, there are a lot of classes is involved, and each class is 75 minutes um, and 15 of them. So there are a lot of things that we recorded, and in there is like I'm a relatively interactive instructor. So what we study here is to basically know the time between instructor questions and student responses. And in most questions, students respond like there are like 1 to sometimes like 11 responses to one question. Sometimes there are fewer, like 3 to 5. And in general, the time is also one of the things we're studying here. And also, students did what you just did. They identify their feelings before any exercise, either mindfulness exercise or learning exercise. And they also were prompted to identify their feelings and experience afterwards. And students' responses are all voluntary. The instructor doesn't call students out. So it's kind of like when the student feels ready, they may speak up and try to participate in the class discussion. And here is like why I'm doing it that way is, as I said, stress of COVID seemed to be influencing everybody's life, and student anxiety due to the familiarity of remote instruction, and also with the novice like situation. It seemed to be impede like effective learning and or engagement in class. Especially students are allowed to have their video or sound microphone off, and in a way they just need to manage their anxiety even more, because that seemed to be the like mediating factor here. And what I found was actually surprised, because my hypothesis was students' response time is supposed to be reduced, and also student engagement should be increased in classes that might, and a mindfulness exercise was facilitated compared to those without a mindfulness exercise facilitated, which was like other learning activity was facilitated. Um, However, there are more student responses during during the classes with mindfulness. However, statistically, there are not significantly more than those without mindfulness exercise. But number-wise, it is a bigger number. Um, and then also this class is limited, as you see earlier, is like it's a smaller sample size in one public university in the East Coast of the United States. So in a way, if we eventually would like to generalize how mindfulness can be used in classes, then a larger sample size is definitely needed, and ideally randomly assigned participant, or at least randomly assigned like classes, courses, teaching by the same instructor, or not, at least like the same class with different sections, or different type of universities like community college, like 4-year colleges, teaching in like more teaching focus or more teaching like research intensive universities. And also maybe compare, eventually we can compare the remote or in-person instruction, may allow us to know whether there's any difference if we are consider using. It sounds like a sad finding, but I would say though, actually in the experiences with students before and after the mindfulness practice, most students, mass majority of students report like feeling tired, stressed, sad, anxious, exhausted, or worried. So there are a lot of more like heightened anxiety whenever students were prompted to identify their feelings. And after the mindfulness is overwhelmingly all of these: peaceful, feeling peaceful, comfortable, relaxed, needed, relieved, focused, or calming. So in a way, students' qualitative response seem to be confirming the um, the hypothesis, but however, the number doesn't quite show, and it may be strictly limited by the small sample size at this point. So, so here, just a short tip to share with you and see if you're willing to try with your students. I mean, at least that's what they said. It works, although the number doesn't show it. And if you have any question or things you would like to discuss, please feel free to email me. I would love to hear your feedback and responses. Thank you so much for listening.